And now, Andrew Does Everything proudly presents Cinderella, based on the story of Cinderella. Once upon a time, there lived a young girl named Cinderella. Cinderella had 3 ugly, mean stepsisters named Olive, Nina, and Esme. Olive, Nina, and Esme made Cinderella do all the chores. "Sweep the floors, wash the dishes," said Olive, Nina, and Esme. One day, the king of Onlyville's messenger said, hear ye, the king of Onlyville is going to throw a ball. And whoever has the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince Singling. But Cinderella is not welcome. Her stepsisters are. Olive said, he's going to marry me. Nina said, no way, Olive. He's going to marry me. Esme said, both of you are wrong. He's going to marry me. Later, Cinderella is so sad that she cannot go to the ball and marry Prince Singling. Suddenly, her fairy godmother arrives and asks Cinderella what is wrong. Why are you crying, Cinderella? She asks. Cinderella responds, I wanted her to go to the ball and marry Prince Singling, but I'm not welcome. The fairy godmother waved her wand and chanted the magic word, Winnity, Waterity, one! And then, Cinderella's chores are all done. But the fairy godmother is not done yet. She said, Cinderella, go fetch me a good old pumpkin. Luckily, Cinderella has one pumpkin. The fairy godmother waved her magic wand and chanted the magic word, Winnity, Waterity, one! Again, and to turn Cinderella's do-rag and clothes into a gown. I've never seen such a wonderful gown. I get a load of my glass slippers, and then the pumpkin into a carriage drawn by 2 strong horses. The fairy godmother said, have fun, Cinderella, but I will warn you, return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken. Cinderella accepted the warning. Meanwhile, at the ball, Prince Singling was wondering who he should marry. Olive, Nina, and Esme said all together, he's walking towards me. But he's not walking towards any of them. He's walking towards Cinderella. Cinderella and Prince Singling dance happily together. But later, Cinderella realized it's almost midnight. So she scurried out of the ball, and she was running so fast that she lost one of her glass slippers. Prince Singling was so worried that he might never see Cinderella again. So he traveled around Onlyville to find her and brought the glass slipper with him. He knocked on the door of the house where her Cinderella and her stepsisters lived. He said, ladies, I have a favor to ask. Can any of you try this glass slipper? Olive is first, but her foot is too big. Nina is next, but her foot is too small. Esme is last, but her foot didn't fit either. Suddenly, Prince Singling noticed Cinderella singing. Winterella said. Prince Singling, is that you? Prince Singling said, of course it's me. Winterella gets so excited because she's having to have her Prince Singling back. And they lived happily ever after. The end. I hope you enjoyed this story before bed enters doors. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share to my video. Take care. Bye and good night, everybody. Andrew's Doers. Andrew Does Everything proudly presents Cinderella. It is based on the story of Cinderella. Let's tell you the story, shall we? Once upon a time, there lived a young girl named Cinderella. Cinderella had 3 ugly, mean stepsisters named Tina, Winona, and Una. Tina, Winona, and Una made Cinderella do all the chores. Sweep the floors, wash the dishes, do it all, said Tina, Winona, and Una all together. One day, the king of Doubleburg's messenger said, Hear ye, the king of Doubleburg, his majesty, is going to throw a ball, and whoever has the most beautiful gown and cross shall marry his son, Prince Twinning. But Cinderella is not welcome. Her stepsister, Tina said, he's going to marry me. Winona said, no way, Tina, he's going to marry me. Una said, both of you are wrong, he's going to marry me. Later, Cinderella is very sad that she cannot go to the ball and marry Prince Twinning. And her fairy godmother asks Cinderella what's wrong by saying, why are you crying, Cinderella? Cinderella responds, and sadly, I wanted to go to the ball and marry Prince Twinning. Her fairy godmother said, I can help with a bit of double magic. She waves her magic wand and chants the magic words, dibbly dabbly doubly do. And all of Cinderella's chores are done, but the fairy godmother is not done yet. She said, Cinderella, fetch me a pumpkin. Luckily, Cinderella has 2 pumpkins. The fairy godmother waves her magic wand and chants the magic words, dibbly dabbly doubly do. Again, turning the 2 pumpkins into a handsome coach drawn by 2 strong horses, and then Cinderella's clothes into a gown and crown. I have never seen such a double-tasted gown. And get a lot of my glass slippers. Cinderella is now ready for the ball. Her fairy godmother said, have fun, Cinderella, but I would warn you. Return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken. Cinderella accepted the warning. Meanwhile, at the ball, Prince Twinning was wondering who he should marry. Cinderella, of course. Tina, Winona, and Una shout out together, he's walking towards me! But he's not. But he is walking towards Cinderella. Cinderella and Prince Twinning danced happily together. But later, Cinderella realized it's almost midnight, so she screamed out of the ball. And she was running so fast that she lost both her glass slippers. Prince Twinning was so worried, afraid that she might never see Cinderella again. So he traveled all around Doubleburg to find her, and brought the 2 glass slippers with him. He knocked on the door where Cinderella, Tina, Winona, and Una lived. But instead of Cinderella, he found Tina, Winona, and Una. Ladies, I have a favor to ask. Can any of you try on these 2 glass slippers? Prince Twinning asks. Tina is first, but her feet are too big. Winona is next, but her feet are too small. Una is last, but her feet are on the right size of her. Suddenly, Prince Twinning noticed Tuarella's sweet singing. Tuarella shouts excited, "Prince Twinning, is that you?" Prince Twinning responded, "Of course it's me. You are from my father's ball. I love you. Will you marry me?" Tuarella gets so excited because he's happy to have Prince Twinning back. And they both lived happily ever after. The end. I hope you enjoyed this story, Andrews Doers. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and buy our merchandise. Take care. Bye. Oh, yeah. And now, Andrews Doers. Andrews they proudly presents Cinderella. It is based on the story of Cinderella. Let's tell you the story, shall we? Once upon a time, there was a young girl named Cinderella. Cinderella had 3 ugly, mean stepsisters named Sophia, Isabella, and Xavier. Sophia, Isabella, and Xavier made Cinderella do all the chores. Sweep the floors, wash the dishes, do it all, said Sophia, Isabella, and Xavier all together. Then one day, the king of Sextuple-Hand's messenger said, "Hear ye, the king of Sextuple-Hand is going to throw a ball, and whoever has the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince Sextuple." But Cinderella is not welcome. Her stepsisters are. Sophia said, "He's going to marry me." Isabella said, "No way, Sophia, you're wrong. He's going to marry me." Xavier said, "Both of you are wrong. He's going to marry me." Later, Cinderella is so sad, doing chores while her fairy godmother asks her what's wrong by saying, "Why are you crying, Cinderella?" Cinderella responds, "I have lots of chores to be done, but I can't go to the ball and marry Princess Toppling." Her fairy godmother said, "I can help with a bit of magic." Cinderella's fairy godmother waves her magic wand. Because of the 600 chores are all done. But her fairy godmother is not done yet. She said, "Cinderella, go fetch me a pumpkin." Luckily, Cinderella has 6 pumpkins. Cinderella's fairy godmother waves her magic wand again to turn the 6 pumpkins into a handsome coach. And then drawn by 12 strong horses, and then Cinderella's clothes into a gown and crown. Cinderella said, "I've never seen such a sextuple-tastic gown, and get a load of my glass slippers. Fairy godmother, how can I ever thank you enough?" Her fairy godmother said, "Well, you can't. But have fun, Cinderella, but I would warn you, return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken, and everything will change back to the way it was before." Cinderella accepted the warning. Meanwhile, at the ball, Prince Sextuple was wondering who he should marry. Sophia, Isabella, and Xavier all together, "He's walking towards me." But he's not walking towards any of them. Prince Sextuple is walking towards Cinderella. "May I have this dance?" asked Prince Sextuple. Cinderella responds, "I would be delighted." Prince Sextuple and Cinderella dance happily together, but later, Cinderella realized it's almost midnight. So she scurried out of the ball and she was running so fast that she lost both of her glass slippers. Prince Sextumbling was so worried that he might never see Cinderella again. He then traveled around Sextumbling Hand to find her, and brought the 2 glass slippers with him. By the time he arrives, he knocked on the door of the house where Cinderella, Sophia, Isabella, and Xavier lived. But instead of Cinderella, he finds Sophia, Isabella, and Xavier. Prince Sextumbling said, "Ladies, I have a favor to ask. Can you go try on these glass slippers? Sophia is first, but her feet are too big. Isabella is next, but her feet are too small. Xavier was last, but her feet didn't fit either." Suddenly, Prince Sextumbling notices Cinderella's sweet singing. Cinderella then gets so excited because she's having her Prince Sextumbling back. And Prince Sextumbling doesn't have to put the 2 glass slippers back on her feet because they're so uncomfortable. And then Prince Sextumbling and Cinderella lived happily ever after. The end. Andrew's Drew, you want to see some sequels? Tell your friends about it. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share and buy our merchandise. Oh, look at that! And if we time it just right, it's 6 minutes and 6 seconds. And now, Andrew Does Everything proudly presents 24-Arella. It is based on the story of Cinderella with a plot twist. Let's tell you the story, shall we? Once upon a time, in a faraway land named Quadror Vegetublingham, there was a young adult girl named 24-Arella. 24-Arella had 10 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters named Tasha, Winona, Elena, Nina, Tanya, Yadina, Fiona, Ophelia, Ursula, and Ruby. All 10 of them constantly made fun of 24-Arella and always made her do all the chores. 24, wench! Sweep the floors, wash the dishes, do it all! Said Tasha to Ruby all together. One day, the king of Quadrivigitumlingham's messenger arrives and says, Hear ye, hear ye! The king of Quadrivigitumlingham, his royal majesty, is going to throw a ball, and whoever has the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince Quadrivigitumling. Can I come? Asks 24-Arella, but she's not welcome. Her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters are. He's going to marry me, said Tasha, the oldest stepsister, but her younger sisters disagree. They even tear 24-Arella's best party dress. Later, 24-Arella is so sad, distraught and upset about not going to the ball and marrying Prince Quadrivigitumling. Suddenly, her fairy godmother arrives and comforts 24-Arella. There, now, my dear 24-Arella, she said, I'll fix everything for you. Nobody will know it's you. She then waves her magic wand. Because of that, 24-Arella's chores are all done. But her fairy godmother is not done yet. She said, 24-Arella, go fetch me a pumpkin and your tiny friends, the mice. Luckily, 24-Arella has 24 pumpkins of 48 mice. 24-Arella's fairy godmother waves her magic wand again to turn the 24 pumpkins into a handsome coach, into the 48 mice into horses, and fixes 24-Arella's natural dress and makes it bigger and better. 24 said, I've never seen such a quadrivigital-tastic gown. It'll get a load of my glass slippers. Fairy godmother, how can I ever thank you enough? And climbed into the coach. Well, 24's fairy godmother says, well, you can't. But have fun, 24, my dear. But I will warn you. Return home before midnight or the spell will be broken and everything will change back to the way it was before, and gave her a clock to tell her what time it is. And so, 24 accepted the warning. Meanwhile, the king at Quadrivigitumlingham says, good evening, everyone. Prince Quadrivigitumling was wondering who he should marry. Isn't that right, son? To which Prince Quadrivigitumlingus responds, yes, father. Suddenly, 24 arrived at the ball just in time. He's walking towards me, said Tasha, Winona, Elena, Nina, Tanya, Yadina, Fiona, Ophelia, Ursula, and Ruby all together. But Prince Quadrivigitumling is not walking towards any of them. He's walking towards 24 Prince. He then says, you must be 24 May I please have this dance? In which 24 says, yes, I would be delighted. And so 24 and Prince Quadrivigitumling dance happily together. But later, 24 checks her clock and it's almost midnight, so she scurried out of the ball. And she was running so fast that she lost both her glass slippers. The next day, by the time the ball's over, Prince Quadrivigitumling was really worried that he might never see 24 again. Thinking Quadrivigitumling says, there now, son. I think we'll be able to find 24 And so, the king at Quadrivigitumlingham and Prince Quadrivigitumling began their journey all around the neighborhood to find her, and brought the 2 glass slippers she lost with them. By the time they arrived at her home, they knocked on the door of the house where 24 and her 10 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters lived. But instead of 24 Prince Quadrivigitumling then says, ladies, my father, the king of Quadrivigitumlingham, and I have a favor to ask. Can any of you try on this glass slippers? Tasha is first, but her foot is too big. Winona says, but her foot is too small. Nonsense! It fits, she said. The rest are the same, but none of the feet are the right size either. Suddenly, the king of Quadrivigitumlingham and Prince Quadrivigitumling noticed 24 singing. Your Majesty and Prince Quadrivigitumling, is that you guys? She heard excitedly. The glass slippers fit! And 24 the king of Quadrivigitumling and the Prince Quadrivigitumlingham lived happily ever after. The end. I hope you enjoyed this story, Andrew's Doers. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and Andrew Does Everything, and buy our merchandise at AndrewDoesEverything.com. And if you want to see some sequels, tell your friends about it. And take care. Bye.